Hey guys! Welcome to the HVAC Diaries. Today is Saturday, June 24th, and this is my weekly HVAC vlog. On Thursday, June 22nd, it was National HVAC Tech Day. So we celebrated with some videos on Instagram and yeah, I just had a pretty good day. I also randomly took Wednesday off for a personal day. I had to help my husband with a few things before he had to fly out of town unexpectedly for some family stuff. So yeah, I just had a bit of a short week this week. I'm gonna keep this vlog short and sweet this week. I'm only gonna tell you about 2 stories, and then I'll lump the rest of our service calls and other jobs together in a bit of a montage after these 2 stories. So the first job I'll tell you about is another water source heat pump unit that we replaced in that building. You guys have seen me do many of these. So this building is a 6-story building. It's multi-tenanted. There are so many different offices and tenant spaces, and there's always stuff happening there. There's a lot of replacement units to be done there. So last week we repaired a unit instead of replacing it, and this week we replaced it. So in this building, unfortunately all the heat pumps are different. They're different sizes, like ton-wise. There's 2 tons and 3 tons and 2.5 tons. There's different voltages, different configurations, and there's usually 2 different brands that we have in there. We have McQuay and we have Climate Master. And to a regular person, these 2 different brands look identical. They look the same. But to us, who's installing them, they've got these tiny little differences between them that make switching them just really difficult. Or not difficult, but just really challenging. For example, like the little mounting brackets are slightly off. So the threaded rods that are hanging in concrete anchors in the ceiling, it's already been scanned and they're just slightly off. Our ducting transition was slightly off. The water lines were on the other side of the unit. The drain was on the opposite side of the unit. So we had to make a few changes. And it was a bit of a hassle for sure. So we spent the whole day replacing that unit. And as we got everything hooked up again, finally, we went to start it up to commission it, and we found the brand new unit was flat. There's no refrigerant charge in this unit. So we're wondering, is this a quality control thing from the factory? Did it come from the factory this way? Did it come charged and did it develop a leak over the course of its shipping? We're not quite sure. And it's really unfortunate too, because everybody down the line suffers when this kind of thing happens. The customer suffers because they're the one paying for it and using the unit for its lifetime. And they're going to be starting off with a brand new unit that's been repaired before it's even run. So they suffer. Us, the installation techs, we suffer because, well, we spent a whole day there and we've got nothing to show for it. That doesn't look very professional. It's a little bit embarrassing on our part. And then we also have to rectify it. We either have to repair this unit or we have to replace it with another one. So it's just really tough. Our supplier suffers because that's where we got the unit from and that's where we go back to. And if there's ever any like labor, like who pays for that labor of us to redo the job essentially, it's probably going to fall on them. And the manufacturer suffers too, because at the end of the day, it's their name that's on the unit. So everyone down the line suffers. And unfortunately, there's no one up the line to blame. Because consider how much handling those units go through from the time that they're like manufactured and assembled in the factory to having it shipped from there all the way to us. And by the time it gets forklifted onto our truck, it's touched so many different hands. So who to blame? It's just a really tough pill to swallow. So we inquired about a new unit to replace it, and unfortunately it's a 15-week wait for that unit. And these poor tenants, they've already been waiting months and months for this one. So we've charged it up with nitrogen, and we're hoping with all of our might that the refrigerant charge holds. We're gonna check it on Monday morning. We've just been busy this week. If it doesn't hold, that means that we have to bring that unit down, do a leak test, and then find that leak and repair it. And like I said before, and then they're going to be sitting with a brand new unit that's been repaired before it even ran. That's just, it's no good for anybody. And the second job I'll tell you about, we service a bunch of air conditioners at an equipment rental place. So they rent equipment primarily to movie sets, and they do on-location services. And they rent out so many different types of things to movie sets, like power cables and pylons and road directional signs and carpets and director chairs and fans and anything you can imagine. And then these portable air conditioning units. So what happened with this particular one was it had been rented out to a movie company and they were about to return it. They had it on their truck and they parked their truck on the side of the road. And the next morning, when they were going to come and return it to them, they found this unit just on the street on its side. So either somebody tried to steal it, and they just lost control of it because it's about, I don't know, 800 pounds or something like that. So maybe they're like, oh, look what we've got, and then psh, it just fell over. Or other than that, maybe it was a vandal. Maybe someone opened that truck and was like, suckers, I don't know. We're speculating. They actually got really lucky because they didn't lose the refrigerant charge. I think if that thing had fallen the opposite direction, it would have punctured right through the coil and they would have lost the charge completely. So what they're doing now is they're just pulling it apart and they're going to keep it for spare parts. And what they had us do was come and recover all of the refrigerant so that the unit would be completely empty and they could actually cut the coils out in case they needed it on a different unit. Pretty interesting job. Pretty interesting story, and I cannot believe those things are so well built. I mean, they're built to move around from location to location, so they're built really strong and sturdy. So that thing must have taken quite a tumble. All right, and now for our other jobs, our service calls and other jobs. like I promised, short and sweet vlog this week. Hope you guys had a great week. I hope you were productive and you solved some problems. Hopefully you had a bit of fun along the way. Have a great weekend, guys. I'll see you next week.